We are back. Episode 8 of the Men Lie, Women Lie, and All Flowers Die podcast. I am Uncle Joe, and I'm a little spicy today. This is the lovely Miss Les, and she curled her hair herself.
I gotta watch what I say. This guy.
And I can't really pinpoint a reason why I woke up spicy. No, I know exactly why I woke up spicy, because I woke up conversing with someone and emotionally vomiting some stuff that I've been holding. So I think
Also,
it
you
opened
spoke to
a
someone.
floodgate.
You were talking to somebody about
Yeah.
yesterday?
I woke up with someone. Yeah.
You woke up with someone?
Yeah.
So celibacy was out the door?
That's wrong of you to assume that I only sleep with people to have sex with them, but celibacy's on pause right now. It's back today. Nah.
Day one.
Yeah, it's back to day one. Yo, addicts. Oh, you gotta get back on it. So I woke up with someone that I trust, because mind you, I believe I've said on this show before, there is probably a handful or less women that I trust, that I allow to spend with. So I woke up with someone that I trust, and I got to talking about things that have been bothering me. And because the floodgates were open, there's more that needs to be revealed. Hence, I'm feeling a little spicy.
So thanks to the homegirl that woke up with him this morning, because now everybody else here gotta pay the price.
But it's not a pay the price thing, because I'm not here to abuse y'all or take it out on y'all. I'm just feeling
I don't know. That text message was like,
relentlessly honest.
I'm a little spicy. watch
But that
your
was
mouth.
fucking around. Nah,
Watch your mouth.
I would never talk to y'all like that. Y'all are ladies. Come on now. That would be
A red flag.
a red flag, which is what we are here to discuss today. Red flags in relationships. First, let's define what a red flag is. Miss Les, will you do that for the
Yeah,
viewers?
for me, a red flag is like a warning sign, right? That something is like unhealthy or manipulative. It's something that you just have to keep your eye on, right? It might not be red, it could be orange, right? But something just to keep it in the back of your
Something
mind.
that gives you like trepidation, right? Like,
Yeah, like
this is a bad sign, a bad signal.
Yep.
Can red flags, and I know the answer to this question, can red flags be hidden and discovered later in the process?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you have a list of top 5 red flags? We're not going to get to them yet. I just want to know.
I do.
I also have a list of top 5 red flags.
I do.
But you had suggested before the show that we discuss red flags that we believe are within ourselves,
Yes.
that we, I guess, take out on people, or I'm not sure what the proper phrase, or that
just
people may notice about us.
Right.
To keep
So
warning.
for example, my number one, and I was actually reading an article. That's how it came up, and I was like, and it was just like more like a self-development article, and it was like, these are things you should look for within yourself, whatever. And I'm needy. I'm super needy.
Okay.
That's a red flag.
All right, and keep in mind, red flags are subjective.
Right.
So, to someone that may be a red flag.
Yeah.
But to someone else, that what's the opposite of a needy person, or like, what would a
Kinda
needy
like a
person need? Like a giving person?
No,
Like
I'm
an
needy.
open
Like
person?
I want your attention. I need your attention.
Right.
I
So
want, like,
the dude that is your partner, and he is satisfying your neediness. What would that be like? Called, like, he's like a giver, like he's open to your neediness. I don't. We don't have to answer that question now.
I don't know.
But that person would find your neediness like dope.
Yeah, but neediness in a relationship is not good either, right? Like if somebody's too needy, that means that they've kind of lost themselves, right? Like because two people in a healthy relationship should have like their two separate lives. But if I'm super needy and I need, like, I want to do everything with my partner. I want to go to Target. I want to go pump some gas. I want whatever it is, right?
Are you that needy?
I don't know.
Like you want to get up under his wife beater and stick your head inside of it?
So what I think, right? Because I think of people that I've dated and relationships, and I'm like, in some instances I have been, and then in some I haven't. I think that the ones I have, there was some type of insecurity within the relationship.
I could believe that. If someone is making you feel insecure, then you're gonna.
Yeah, and not even insecure within
subconsciously
myself,
find
but
the
just with the
need.
relationship. Like I don't feel 100%.
Right. Trust-wise.
You know, yeah, like
So you
trust-wise,
feel
or we're
the
on the
need
same
to
page.
keep
So I feel
them
like
very close.
right.
Right.
That could be a little
So
controlling too.
It's funny
I'm
you
a
say
walking
that.
red flag.
So one of my red flags would be the opposite. Like one of my red flags would be almost like being emotionless and not needy, and potentially, and this may have changed or it may depend on the day. Vocalizing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I don't necessarily need you. You know, your being here is optional. You know what I'm saying? But nobody wants to hear that. So they may consider that a red flag. Also, the lack of like, and this is something I need to work on personally and within my own self. Hopefully, a therapist will help me fix this. Lack of excitement.
Really?
Yeah, like
So like nothing excites
me.
you.
No, it's all mundane and whatever.
That's tough. So if somebody does something nice for you, like you're just
I'll appreciate it, and I'll let them know that I appreciate it. But it's like I lack childlike excitement.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It might not to reflect too much, but it might go back to childhood and getting excited and then getting shut down for being too excited. So like if you get excited or too excited, you get reprimanded or almost mocked. And so it's like, what the fuck am I getting excited for if it's gonna lead to negative feelings? You know what I'm saying? And then there's also that like possibility that the excitement will be unfulfilled. So you get excited about something and you look forward to it and then the shit don't happen for whatever reason. And you're like, wow, I wasted all that energy being excited.
Right. To be disappointed.
But it's whack. Like to not get excited for shit is whack. Like I feel myself and I'll be like, you should be mad excited right now. Like whatever the event or the case may be is like, you should be really excited. And I'll just be there like, half the time I'll be like, do I even have to go to this? Like, and then I'll just be there.
So I've had a similar instance. I mean, that's not really one of my red flags, but in being when I was dating someone where because it was so inconsistent, right, and on and off, and you know, for me that's like huge.
Yes. Inconsistent. You should get that tattooed on you somewhere. You should get a red flag with inconsistent in it and just show it to niggas. Yo, look.
Stop, I lost my train of thought now. So for me it was because it was so much inconsistency, right? And I didn't know where this was going. Were we gonna be talking 2 weeks from now or not? If we ever made plans for like something in the future, like for example, booking a trip or like going here, like I wouldn't get excited about it because I didn't know if it was actually gonna happen. Like, were we even gonna make it to that point, which is really bad. I shouldn't even be in a situation like that, right? But so I can understand it a little bit.
Yeah, yours is a little different because
mine's a little more out of fear,
someone else
out of fear of like abandonment. Yes, exactly. Why you don't?
No, I don't expect someone else to disappoint me. I just expect not that I expect to be disappointed. It's just nothing excites me. I don't know. And like I took my dad to WrestleMania. I don't know if I've spoken about this on here, but my father, at like the age of 4 or 5. One of my earliest memories is him waking me up with a VHS, like VCR tape of WrestleMania at like 4 a.m, and he was ripped, and I think he had a cheeseburger, and he was like, "Yo, come watch this with me." So all my life, wrestling was connected to my dad. So when they came over here to the Meadowlands, I got to take him to WrestleMania, which is like the Super Bowl of wrestling. And you would figure like, yo, I've been leading up to this moment my whole life, like I should be excited, and even then, it was just like. I had fun. I was happy. I was happy to see him happy. I got to see Hulk Hogan in the flesh, which is like, for some reason, my dad and Hulk Hogan in my brain are like the same person. So it was like, I remember even driving there and I was like, yo, I hope Hulk Hogan comes out. And he wasn't like booked to come out.
Then you were excited, right?
I was hopeful, but I wasn't excited like, Like, I don't know, when you see people excited, you can see it in their eyes, and you can see, like, I don't know, like, it's fucking leaking out of them that they're super happy to be somewhere and super excited for this moment to have arrived. And lacking that is whack. So having a partner, so imagine if you're the partner, and you're like, yo, I just got you these tickets to WrestleMania. And I'm there like, all right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, what the fuck? I'm not,
Yeah, I could see your partner
you
feeling
feel
like
me?
it's never good.
And mind you, inside I might be like, yo, that's what's up. Like I might even vocalize it, like, yo, thank you, like I really appreciate it. But they're never gonna see that excitement. Like,
Is it because you're scared of showing that vulnerability?
yes, that goes back to the first red flag of being emotionless, which is also not fun. But by not showing emotions, you can, like, you're harder to read and therefore harder to manipulate, right? So, but in a relationship, it can be very confusing to your partner if you are emotionless.
Right.
Because you're making yourself harder to read to them, and they're supposed to be able to read you like a book. So I can imagine that potential partners have considered that.
But I think
a
that's
red flag.
something that even that they would pick up on from even like the dating stage, right? Because you can't fake being excited.
Yeah. That's like, you don't have to know me long to know that, you know, my emotions are very reserved. And you have to kind of like infiltrate the parameter of trust to see, you know what I'm saying? Like certain different sides and certain emotions expressed. It's not for everybody to see.
So
To me.
is there anything that would make you excited?
I don't know.
Like,
There's
you
a
can't
gang
think
of shit
any?
that should make me excited, right? Like anytime my daughter comes, I should be excited. And I'm happy and I look forward to it, but I'm not excited per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to go to Puerto Rico, so you would imagine. I haven't been to Puerto Rico in fucking 35 years, longer than probably people have been alive, obviously. So you'd be like, damn, I should be excited. And it's like, it'll be dope. It'll be fun. And, you know, I love being with my daughter, and I'm going to take my mom, so I'm going to have the future and the past. And it's all positive, dope, love things. It's just the excitement don't be there. Like, I want my heart to race, and I want my stomach to flutter and shit. And that shit is lacking. Shout out to my daughter, though. She hit me up this week and told me some stuff that a professional had told her that she may be going through, and she listed a bunch of traits, let's say. I don't want to say them specifically, but I was like, yeah, boo, like, I got all them shits too, and look at me, I'm fucking awesome. Like, come on, you're gonna be all right. And then her mom calls me, and she's a little more, whatever, you know, I guess, concerned. And shout out to my daughter's mother. She actually told me to stop cutting you off.
That is a red flag.
Well, you know what it is? It's
Not, you know what? Not
you just cut me off.
allowing. Yep.
See that red flag?
Yep. I did. Not feeling heard. Right? That's a red flag for a lot of people.
Of course.
And part of that is cutting me off. Yes. I actually got that feedback. They're like, he's always cutting you off. I'm like, but I've learned.
Yes.
So from the previous podcast, right, where it was 3 females, everybody wanted to say something, right? So I learned, okay, we can't just all sound like we're, you know, I get it, right? The thought comes to your head and you're like, you want to say it before you forget it, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So I've learned, okay, once somebody else starts talking, let me, because if not, it just sounds like a bunch of gibberish.
Well, I'm also learning.
But you've gotten better.
I'm trying. Woohoo! So shout out to my daughter's mother. Shout out to my daughter as well. You're going to be fine. You're fine already. You're awesome. All that shit, it's whatever. Don't trust these doctors trying to get people hooked on mental drugs for the rest of their life. You're fucking great as you are. And whatever weird stuff is going on up here, you get that from me. And we're going to survive no matter what. So back to red flags. Another red flag that I would consider myself as having is your number one red flag, which is inconsistency. But that's partially due to narcissism. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, today's show started at 2. I arrived at 1:58 because I'm a narcissist and I don't believe this show. Like, I heard this once and it always stuck to me. If you're important, they'll wait. So I'm like, yeah, you know, they can't move on without me. Not y'all, but anybody. However,
No, what do you
I
mean
was on
not,
time.
Not y'all. You said that directly right here.
Not
Even Donnie's
not
face over there
specifically
is
y'all.
like-
Not specifically y'all. Or not only y'all, I should say. That just falls to everybody. Like, but that's part of the narcissism, which is another red flag.
Yeah, it's a huge red flag. No, I'm gonna watch my mouth today because somebody's feeling spicy.
Go,
and
be free and speak your mind. My spiciness is never to attack y'all.
Go ahead. What other red flags do you see within yourself?
With myself, I'm not always punctual because I don't believe in the concept of time so much. So, you know, the universe and my spirit will tell me what time I need to be somewhere. And if it's not the right time, then it just wasn't meant to be.
Are you high?
No, I wish I was, but I'm not. Why, you don't believe me? Or you just don't? Do I sound like a crazy ass fuck?
A little bit.
But that's all related to the narcissism, bro. Because when you think you're the star of the movie, everything revolves around you.
It's funny because these red flags that you're listing are the red flags that I have that I look at when I'm dating somebody.
That you
I'm
notice?
Like, that I'm like, inconsistency.
Well,
you're a walking red flag.
We could never date.
Nah.
Yeah, that's why I picked you. You know what I'm saying? And one of our, well, I guess a fan or a listener asked if I sent you the photo shoot,
Yeah.
the screenshot. One of our listeners asked if we were dating, and no, Miss Les and I are not compatible.
Not at all.
Which is funny.
Why is it funny?
Because as a narcissist, like, I'm compatible with anybody. Nah.
I don't even know what to say.
I say dumb shit just to see Les react to it.
I think my face said it all.
Yes. What was the funniest face you put?
Oh my
somebody
God, what was
pointed
it that you
out?
said?
I don't remember. Fuck, but Les.
I forgot what it was.
Les's
yeah.
face does not lie, which is a positive.
Yeah, no. Sometimes.
So hit me with another one of your red flags, and then I want to get into red flags that we notice or that we try to avoid.
The other one of my red flags, and I think this one's a little hard to tell in the beginning, and it's more for myself, right? I don't know how it affects the person that I'm dating, but knowing when to walk away. So within myself, that's like a red flag.
Could that be a red flag to someone else? Like your partner wouldn't know that you are an expert at knowing when to walk away until they have forced you to walk away.
Right, but it should be a red flag, right? Wouldn't you want someone that has, I mean, I feel like when you don't know how to walk away, you kind of lack self-respect a little bit.
Right, so it depends on the partner, right? Because some guys will take advantage of a woman
Yeah,
that
no,
can't
of
walk
course,
away.
right? But I'm talking about like if you want like a healthy relationship, and I guess it depends on, because I've had situations where I walk away, I'm like, no, I'm not fucking doing this shit, right?
Right.
But then I've had times where I've stood much longer than I should have.
So 2 things, right? A good partner should support you having a backbone and an opinion and a voice and standing on it. And a good partner, if they realize that maybe you're lacking that, they should help you build it and like support it and help you grow it. You know, they shouldn't be afraid of it because they shouldn't ever put you in a position that you would want to choose to walk away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good partner. But a fucked up partner, especially if they're narcissistic, they'll definitely take advantage if you don't have a backbone and you don't know walk away and you don't know when to walk away. They're just gonna keep pushing that envelope till you fucking fall off the cliff.
Yeah, and I mean, the way you're saying it, right? It sounds like really bad. So it's not that I won't walk away. It's just I should have walked away sooner. Like for me to walk away and feel like completely get over it, I have to know that I gave it my all, right? Where I have nothing left to give, and now I'm okay with walking away, which most of the times is longer than what you should have stayed, right? So it's not that I don't have a backbone.
No, I wasn't talking about you like that. I was just saying in that example, people that may be in that situation.
But no, it could come across like that, right? Like, oh, I could do this and this, and she's still gonna be there, right?
Right.
But for me, it's more of I still have, like, I haven't given everything yet. And for me to walk away from something and be at peace with it, I have to know that I gave everything. There's nothing more I could have given. And now I could walk away at peace, and it'll be like you never existed to me.
Right. But I find that to be a little bit, like, it almost doesn't make sense to me, right? Because if you are with a partner and you realize it's time to walk away, instead of walking away, you give more until you've exhausted yourself to the point that you can say, I tried everything and now I can walk away with no.
I know, it's
You're
not
almost
healthy.
torturing yourself.
It's like a war within myself.
Where I'm more like, that bitch stepped on my sneakers, she cut off. That's it. Like, you fucked it up. Yo, I had that happen one time. Shorty came over from the club, stepped on my kicks, and I'm like, yo, you just stepped on my kicks? She's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll buy you another pair. I'm like, these are not on the market. Shorty. Like, you can't just go buy another pair of these like that. What you think? These are just regular? This is back in the day, before you could buy any sneaker whenever you want. Yo, and she disregarded it as if my emotions were not valid. And yeah, she had to get cut off after that.
Yeah, your emotions on sneakers?
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's important to me, you
right.
should respect it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's sneakers or whatever the case may be. To go back to something you just said, I heard a really dope saying this weekend or whatever. Someone was explaining letting someone go, right? And I thought it was beautiful. He said, in order to let someone go, you must first detach. And in order to detach, you must first conclude what the attachment was. So if that person made you feel loved, the attachment was that the love. So you are lacking self-love.
Absolutely.
So once you realize that, then you can detach. And once you detach, then you can let go. I have, and this is another red flag, I have issues letting go if I feel like, almost like unresolved emotions. There's still confliction, and maybe things haven't been said or settled. That shit fucks me up, bro. And that video that I saw made me reflect, and like, I have to really dig in deep and see what the attachment was, so I can detach and so I can let go, so I can move on, because that's preventing me from moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing, and it's something that I've done myself, right, is dating someone's potential and not who they actually are, right? Like, I put them on this pedestal of what I see, not only for us, but what I see for them, and that's who I'm dating, right? And number one, that's not fair to the person, right? Because now I'm setting unrealistic expectations, right? That the person
they might not even want to achieve.
Yeah, right. And then it's also, right, letting myself down. But it is another red flag within myself.
I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's more common in women, to date a man's potential. Yeah. And it's inspiring, because y'all see stuff within men that the man himself might not see, and y'all see this potential in places that he can go and things he can achieve that he himself may have never even thought of. And a wise man would use that to reach these pinnacles and these levels that were beyond his own imagination before he met the young lady. But more common, the man will resent these expectations or these these lofty goals that the female has set for him. Instead of trying to reach them, and even if you fail, at least you tried, and you're way better than you were
When you met
back
the person.
then.
Right, right.
But men are very prideful.
I think
and,
that's
dumb.
also the reason why it's hard to detach from someone, because you attach yourself to someone who doesn't really exist because you put them on this pedestal, right? Of this. So that person doesn't really exist. So that also makes it hard to detach,
I think that
you know?
that part I feel happens to men more often, where we'll meet a potential partner, and specifically women, and I think specifically men of my generation, we meet these females, and if we like them, we'll put them on a pedestal, and they'll be angelic, and almost perfect. We know deep down they ain't fucking perfect, but we put them on this pedestal, and then when they start being human, like the pedestal starts crumbling, and then we're no longer looking at them the same way. And another beautiful saying that I heard this weekend that I saved it because I wanted to read it, was in regards to breakups. And this is one of my red flags, right? So when you see a girl out partying every weekend, always in the clubs, just out every night, whether it's going out to dinner, lounge, hookah lounge, bar, club, whatever, like, shorty just out too much, right? Like, that to me is a red flag. And somebody said, a wise man actually said, that one of the saddest things a man can see is a good girl go bad, especially a girl he loved. When you see them drinking and being a hoe, thinking they're somehow living, unaware of what they're doing to themselves, it's sad to see that beauty destroyed. It's sad to see an angel die. And I thought that was like very potent, in that we often put them on a pedestal and almost
It is,
angelize
but
them.
I want to go back to something that you said, a girl going out and all. I mean,
Well, this is different because this is specific to post-breakup going out.
right, but just because someone is going out doesn't necessarily mean that she's getting drunk, that she's hooking up with guys.
No.
She could just be going out and enjoying her life. That's what she enjoys doing.
Well, that's the thing about, like, a red flag, that you may not allow the person to explain themselves, or you may not do enough research. So red flags are like almost like stereotyping a person or something without getting to know
Nah, that
like the
this
inner.
that situation
Well,
might
this
be
one,
like
this
an
one.
orange flag.
Depending on the person, right?
Right,
So
but
to
you
me,
don't
it's a
know.
red flag, and because it's a red flag, I may not want the explanation, or I may not continue
you.
the pursuit long enough to
But I
get the
think
explanation.
recognizing those red flags is what stops you from possibly getting into a situation that you shouldn't be in anyway.
Right.
Right? So like if you recognize those red flags up front and actually listen to them, then that's not somebody that you should be wasting your time with. So
Right.
it's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Woo. So that's one of my red flags. Would you like to share one of your red flags? But wait, before you share it, I know you're gonna start at number one, and I know number one, so I'm gonna share it with the audience. And if y'all know number one, which y'all should if y'all watched episodes 1 through 7, we can all say it along together as a family. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Inconsistency.
It is.
What is it about inconsistency? You know what?
It
I'm gonna get a
triggers
little more comfortable now. I'm gonna get into therapy mode.
it triggers my anxiety, man. I can't.
One day we have
I
to have a
can't.
whole episode on inconsistency and why it is your number one thing.
I
And I think
can't.
it goes back to your
It
childhood.
does go back to my childhood.
Yeah.
And it triggers like this fear of abandonment.
Right. Abandonment issues.
But I mean, listen, there's nothing I think more attractive than a guy who says he says something and does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is a turn on. So if you say you're gonna do something, do it. And do it all the time. Right? Like if you say, I don't know, whatever, you're gonna call me after work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then you're constantly, oh yeah, I'll call you after work, and then not calling. And then, that triggers that makes you lose trust in the person, right? And that might sound something so like minute, like, oh, it's just a phone call. If you can't call me, let me know. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna be able to call you. But that's like the little things, right? But it can go into such deeper things. So for me, if you're inconsistent, that's why, listen, if I'm dating anybody, the way we start,
potential daters,
keep that energy, or do not show up with it in the beginning.
So what if they start
and then they stop? That's a fucking red flag. Now,
no. What if they're consistently
inconsistent?
No, because I've said that before, and I won an argument on that one. I got points for that one. What happened to my butt, Sean? What if they are? Oh, what if they? Like, that's who they are, right? So
that's not somebody that I can be with.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I can't, because not, if that's who they are, that's okay. You're just not for me, because that's inside. I'm gonna be a fucking wreck.
But you acknowledge, like, exceptions. Like, for example, he tells you, I'm gonna call you tonight, and then something comes up and he don't call you.
Yeah,
he's called you 6 days in a row when he said he would.
It's all about communication.
And on day 7,
let me know. Hey, listen, I can't call you. That's it. Like, I'm busy, right? Like, I go back. But if you're just
easy, right?
It is. If you just communicate, and I don't know, people have like this fear of speaking up, of talking to people. Like, if you avoid, right? If I tell you, oh, I'm gonna text you later, I'm gonna call you later, and I don't, right? And I don't tell you why, or hey, I'm busy, I'm not gonna be able to call you tonight. I'm leaving room in your head to now create your own story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's not fair to you, and then that's not fair to me, right? Because it could innocently be, oh, I got caught up. Yeah. But because I didn't take 2 seconds to be like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna be able to call you tonight, right? That's it. You don't even have to explain anything at that moment, right? Just, I'm not gonna be able to call you, right? I don't want you to wait up.
Yeah. And that'll save a lot of...
Absolutely. Listen, communication would save a lot of heartbreak, a lot of anxiety. It would save a lot of relationships.
Yeah, I think we've said that before on the show. Communication is key, and at the same time it's lacking, which is fucked up.
My other red flag
is number 2 now, because number 1 is inconsistency in capital letters, glowing neon. Number 2.
My number 2 is if I'm dating someone who either constantly talking about their ex or bad mouthing their ex.
Okay.
That shit don't fly with me.
That's fair.
If you're constantly talking about your ex, then dude, you're still in love with her. Then why are you wasting my time, right?
Correct.
2, if you're bad mouthing her, I don't give a shit what she did. At some point, that was exactly who you wanted. That was exactly the person that made you happy. That's, at one point, you guys were good. So for you to go and now badmouth this person, nah, that's not cool. Well, it's one thing to just be like, listen, she was fucked up or whatever. But when you go in and you're talking about, then what does that say about you? And then it makes me question, okay, you're telling me all these things that she did. What the fuck did you do? Right? Now you're not acknowledging the wrong that you did in the relationship. So that's another problem. That red flag leads to another red flag.
Yes. So those are unresolved anger issues, and that's unresolved pain that person is still carrying them regarding their.
That means you got a lot of work to do on yourself.
Yes, I fall into that category, unfortunately, and that shit ain't easy, bro. But I acknowledge that I was fucked up, and had I been a better partner, there would have been less turmoil. But the chips fell where they fell. My number 2 red flag is women who work in nightlife. Okay. So like bartenders, bottle girls, strippers. And again, these red flags are, I don't know if I explained this earlier, but my red flags are for like relationships, right? these don't necessarily stop a person
From being a
pursuing.
homegirl.
No. All right. Let me explain something to y'all. Homegirls and like jump offs are like different, right? Because the homegirl, yes, you're gonna have sex, but you're also going to interact, right? It's almost like that's your girlfriend for the day that y'all are together.
So a stripper would never be your homegirl, or a bartender would never be your homegirl, or a bottle girl.
Not to say that, but it's a red flag. Once you get to know the person, then they could not fall under the category. But to be in those situations constantly, for a person who has trust issues already, those are like dangerous circles to be in. You know what I'm saying? There's always like temptation. And as a bartender, like, yo, you gotta flirt, bro. And niggas are gonna talk to you all night, and niggas are gonna kick it to you every day. And same thing for a bottle girl, and same thing for a waitress and whatever. And
that's a lot of
you can
professions, though.
ignore it.
That's not just nightlife, right? If you're in customer service, right? You
Yeah,
may
but in
not
customer
necessarily
service, y'all ain't
flirt,
drinking.
But no, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Alcohol is not involved, and lust is not in the air.
I mean, alcohol is not involved, but if you're gonna get hit on, you're gonna get hit on wherever.
Right, but a person who is scarred, it's gonna be a red flag for them.
Okay.
In particular, you know what I'm saying?
Was your ex a bartender?
Yes, she was actually, and that's
Okay.
that's probably why I feel this way.
Okay, makes sense.
So the jadedness and the scarring, yes.
Got it. I got it.
So, if you get bitten by a dog, you're probably not gonna fuck with dogs in the future. You know what I'm saying? So if you get burnt by a bartender, you might not like bartenders anymore.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at some point,
And
you gotta
again,
let it
these
go.
are very. Yes. That goes back to the thing that I said earlier with the attachment and the detachment. So when I heard that saying last night or yesterday, like that was when I started to self-reflect and realize that in order to let go, which I've been having difficulties with, I must first detach. And in order to detach, I have to see what had me attached to this particular person.
So when are you doing that?
I don't think I've stopped doing it since I heard the saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of inner reflection as to why this person is held, for me, within me, in such high regard, regardless of the pain that they've caused and the obvious change in outlook that they caused. So I have to really go back and understand what it is that this person gave me that I'm lacking and continue to lack, and then I have to build that in order to be able to painlessly let go.
She may be the biggest blessing you have that
Potentially.
came into your life
I
because
don't.
she's, forcefully making you evolve,
Yes, and I don't.
right? And not necessarily herself, but her actions and the impact that she had on your life.
Yes, I agree, and I don't want to hold any negative feelings toward her. I definitely don't hate her, and I don't wish harm to her. I wish her love and happiness and all that good stuff. But I gotta let that go, bro. Gotta let that go. Let's go on to another red flag.
I hear you. All right, I have someone who's we're at different points in our lives.
Fair.
And I find that out on date one.
All right, so red flags, to veer off slightly, can they be corrected? So your red flag is inconsistency, right?
Right.
Let's say you're dating someone and they are inconsistent on 3 occasions, and you point it out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh shit, I didn't even notice. My bad. That makes you feel crazy. Not, she used crazy in a negative way. That makes you feel a way, that upsets you,
Right.
that bothers you. My mistake, I'm going to fix it. And then I guess that can be corrected, right?
Yeah, I mean,
certain things can be
Of
corrected.
course, if they want to make it work, right, and they see that yes, it's a problem, it's gonna go one of two ways.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna fix it, or
it's gonna continue.
or well, one of
you're
three
gonna
ways,
walk away.
right? Yeah, either I continue and be like, all right, well, maybe it's not that big of a red flag for me, but it absolutely is, or I'm gonna be like, I can't do that. I can't. This is not for me.
What was the red flag you just said right now?
Being at different points in our lives.
That's
Like-
got to be one of the worst ones
Yeah.
because we don't control that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's no point in continuing even past the first date if we want different things.
How is that communicated? And
What are you
can
looking
that
for?
one be corrected?
What are you looking for? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
You really ask people that on the first date? I'll leave you on the first date right now.
Why?
I'll be like, yo, I'm going to the bathroom real quick, shorty.
But
I'm
why?
out, Uber!
Listen, I don't like those. I told you, I'm not about like small talk.
Yeah, but
right?
the
like,
first
I want to
date?
get to know somebody. Like, yes.
Can we get 20 minutes of small talk in?
No, of course, in between. But listen, just like I can ask you, oh, hey, listen, let's talk about like your past relationships, right? A lot of people talk about their past relationships on the first date. Why can't we talk about? I'm not saying what you want with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm saying what do you want? And if you can't answer that question, that's a problem too,
Right.
because then you don't know what you want. And a confused person is just as bad as somebody that's not on the same page as you.
Does not knowing what you want necessarily make you confused?
Yeah, you don't know what you want when you don't know something, like, right? Like, how do you know?
I don't know shit about Mars. That don't mean I'm confused about it.
Of course, if I ask you a question, you're not gonna know the answer.
I'm
You're
gonna tell
confused
you.
about
I
it.
don't know. I'm not confused. I don't know. It's. I think the
It's
wording
just as
is
bad
weird.
as a confused person. It might not be the same thing, but it's just as bad as somebody that is confused about what they want.
What if they want everything?
What is everything? Let's clarify.
I
Let's break
I
down.
want
What
it
is
all.
everything?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I be feeling like that.
So my questions on the first date are not, where do you see us in 5 years? Not like that. Like, I want to know about you. I want to know what is
Where
it
do
that
you
you
see
look
yourself
for.
in 5 years?
Yeah, like what are your goals, right? Like, what's the plan?
Right.
And, you know, do you see yourself married? Do you see yourself kids? Do you want kids? Things like that. And if that doesn't align with what I'm looking for, I am no longer wasting my time.
You're a tough first
'Cause
date.
I
huh?
have done that plenty of times.
How many first dates have you been on that didn't have a second date?
A few. A few.
Fellas, before y'all slide up in the
A
lovely
few.
Miss Les's DM, be aware that the first date is gonna be intense.
That's not
Nah.
intense.
It depends. You can't say that's not intense because of somebody that
You
might
would
be
find
intense.
that intense if we're having a conversation and I'm like, so like, what are you
Somebody
looking
might
for?
find that intense, depending on how
Then-
it's presented.
Then that person may not be looking for what I'm looking for, right? Because I'm dating intentional, right? I want a serious relationship. I want a partner. I do not want children. So I know what I want. And I have no problem speaking about it because I know what I want. I know what I bring to the table. I know where I lack in certain things. And I'm open to talking about it.
I'm not
If you're
saying
not,
it-
if you can't do that, then that might make me question a little
maybe
bit,
they just
right?
don't want to do that on date one. Maybe that's a date 3 combo. Maybe date 1.
I mean, I guess it also depends, right? What is a date one? If we're sitting down, you know, having dinner and drinks, the conversation's gonna come up. Now, if we're doing,
Conversation will
It is.
come up, not
no,
necessarily
that conversation
because you're
will
gonna
come
bring it up.
Absolutely, we're sitting down having dinner and drinks. Now, if we're, I don't know, jumping out of a plane or doing some like fun activity, obviously I'm not gonna be like, by the way.
Before we jump, where do you see yourself when we land?
I mean, it has to, right? The date, it depends on the date as well.
Yes, it
You know what I
depends
mean?
on. There are
The-
many factors.
Yes,
But fellas, know that the fucking question is coming, and you better have a 3-paragraph thesis as to where you will be in 5 years, what you will have achieved, how many children you will or will not have, fucking the whole plan gamut.
You're so dramatic.
All right, number 3 for me.
extent.
Not to that extent. Hit her in the DM. The girls with the IGs that are very like, look at me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when they do the pose and they poke the butt out and they be like, "Oh, I bought new sneakers," and you're like, "This picture is not about the sneakers, mom. Like, what are you doing?" I think that's an immediate red flag.
Okay, I could see that.
Depending on the goal of the interaction, right? Because if you're just looking for some thotty shit, that might be like, that's the fish you want to try to throw the bait at. But if you're looking for something serious and a potential partner and someone to build and grow with, that's, to me, is an immediate red flag. Like, and also the interaction on Instagram, right? So you put up a picture where your butt is the main focus of the picture, and niggas is gonna comment. Some shorties reply to every nigga's comment with a flirty reply. You know what I'm saying? So as someone that is like a potential suitor or a potential courter, that would, to me, would be a red flag. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think the same thing with a guy, right?
Oh, no,
if I
of
go on
course,
his
yeah,
social
same
media
thing.
and it's just like pictures
Like,
of
look
him
at me, or
and then
buff.
right, if you look through the comments and he is responding and
Each and
things
every
like that.
one with
Yeah.
your kissy face.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, you can't control what people comment on your page.
You can, because you can delete them.
No, you're right. No. Yes, you can control, but I mean, you can't stop someone from doing it.
No.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
But
so
once
it does,
you see it.
right? You either delete it or you whatever,
reply with
depending,
some
or
thotty shit.
or you don't. You don't put anything. You don't even hit a heart. So yeah, I could see that being a red flag.
Yeah, so fellas, beware. And ladies, too, because
Yep.
there are definitely male insta-thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's, even as a man looking at that, you're like, come on,
I think people are
Playboy, have
just
some fucking,
craving
some
attention.
proof.
You know what I mean? And that's a
Yes.
quick.
That's actually
a
an
quick
immediate red
fix.
flag.
Yeah.
Attention seekers. And that goes to another one of my red flags. And it's fucked up, right? Because a lot of these red flags, I don't want it to seem like I'm bashing or attempting to attack my ex, but they just so happen to fall and apply.
But that's only because you're not over that situation. I think once you do the work and you get over that situation and you heal from that situation, your red flags may be a little bit different.
I don't think
may
this one
a
will
little
ever
bit
change.
deeper than that.
The what?
They may be a little bit deeper, more like, you see, like, you're like a bartender and I'm here like inconsistency.
But
you know what I mean?
inconsistency
Like,
is
you're
your answer to
very
everything.
like, because that's like the number one thing for me. But I
We
think,
are aware.
I think, right? Yeah, but I know where it stems from, right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
big thing.
Mines are different because they're surface. Because once I see these red flags, I don't move past them to get.
because you haven't gotten
further.
past that situation. Once you do, I think, right? I could be wrong, but I think that once you do, we could revisit this, and you can.
We can and we will, but I think some of these existed prior to her.
Okay.
For example, the bartending thing. Like, I always thought that wasn't a good look for a potential partner. You know what I'm saying? So that goes to a totally different discussion where you meet someone and you see the red flags and you ignore them for whatever reason. Maybe you really like this person or you really think something dope can come about. So you choose to ignore these red flags and then they end up biting you in the ass.
So it's funny that you say that because I read on the article and I wrote it down. It says, why do we sometimes miss these red flags? Often it's because our partners mimic patterns from childhood. Like, you grew up thinking that behavior was normal.
Often. You or the partner?
No, the person that's missing that overlooks these red flags, right? Depending on what the red flag is.
Uh-huh.
It could be something from your child. For example, if someone is controlling.
Oh,
right?
okay. Right.
Because that's actually a red flag of mine, right?
Right.
Controlling. Someone might, I mean, I didn't have that growing up, right? But someone may know that, like, maybe their dad was controlling, right?
Right.
And that's what they knew as love.
Right.
So someone that's controlling is an overlooked red flag for them. When
Right.
someone maybe like you might be like, or me will be like, hell no, that person's controlling. That's not for me. For someone else, they may not.
That's normal to them.
That's normal.
Right. I think that's a very excellent statement, right? So growing up, the love that I saw was not particularly love. It was an awkward interpretation of love with very little showing of actual emotion, not a lot of talking, not a lot of expression of love. So I guess I grew up thinking that was normal. And as an adult, now I know it wasn't, but I have witnessed myself perform the same actions in a relationship because I thought that was like normal, I guess. And then when you look back, you're like, damn, that's not love. So I remember I had a girlfriend, right? And our relationship reminded me of my parents. And my father, to put it bluntly, pushed my mom away, right? Because he was emotionless. So in an effort to not lose the girl, I think I pushed her away. You know what I'm saying? So the irony was that I didn't want to lose her, and I actually caused myself to lose her through my own actions, which were similar to my father's treatment of my mom.
But that's what you saw.
Right. And it was so weird because when I realized it was like, damn, I was working really hard to not lose her, but in doing so, I pushed her away, which was foul. But shout out to her. She's a good person. It was her birthday recently, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So another red flag, and I feel a little bad because this doesn't apply to every woman. There are exceptions, but and
Oh,
damn,
geez, I'm scared of what you're gonna say.
because I feel like you fall under this category a little bit, or sort of, right? It's women with multiple baby fathers.
Oh yeah, I get it.
I think that's a red flag.
I get it. Listen, I get it. I also think.
So I'm not
that-
saying it's be insulting.
No, I'm not. I'm not insulted at all. Actually, I feel like my story is not like it's not like I don't know who my baby daddies are or right. It was like I was with someone when I was young. I
Right.
was 14 to 21, right? And then the next one was my husband. Right? So it wasn't like, oh yeah, no, I dated this guy and got knocked up and then dated this guy and got knocked up and then that's not what it was. These were
Right.
people that were in my life, right? For a very long time, very important people. So I'm not offended by that at all.
And that's the other danger of red flags, right? So let's say in an alternate universe, I was to attempt to bag you.
Right? And then I'm like, I got
and
two
was like,
kids,
oh,
two
so you
baby
got-
daddy.
And I'll
You're
be like, damn, that's a red flag. Let me avoid that. But
I get it.
I didn't take the time to hear your story
Right.
and hear it out because it's not necessarily that you was out there wilding and just got pregnant
Right.
a bunch of times. You were in a long relationship and then you were married and that's how it happened. So the thing with red flags is you want to avoid them, but sometimes you might miss out because of the red flag because you didn't investigate enough to find out
But
why.
I also think you have to like prioritize them, right? Like which one is your I don't give a shit what the story is behind it, right? Like my inconsistency, I don't give a shit what the story is behind it. If you're inconsistent, I can't handle that.
Right.
Right? So that would be my number one. Out of my 5, maybe my least one that I might be like, let me listen is maybe like my last one, which is someone that's not comfortable being vulnerable. Right?
Okay.
Like talking about their emotions
Right.
and things like that. And that's a red flag for me because that means that they don't know how to communicate their emotions.
Right.
And I do.
Right.
But I can also be like, well, let me put that a little bit on the back burner, right? So I can understand
Right.
why this person is the way they are.
Right, especially if they're trying. You know, I think I would fall under that category where I don't always find it as great of a talker as I am and as smooth as my words are. It's sometimes difficult to express emotion, especially if it's a negative emotion, especially if it's like a tragic historical event or whatever. Like, it's not always easy to let people into certain things that have happened.
I get it.
You know,
I get it. I mean, being vulnerable is
it would
hard.
suck to be judged for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you really like Shorty, and you know you're trying. Like, yo, I'm trying to open up to you. It's not gonna be easy, and it's not gonna happen overnight. But if we do a little bit every day, it's gonna, you know, a little bit is gonna add up. Boom, boom, boom.
Right, but then you communicate that, right? Like, listen, I'm not good at talking
Wait. Because you're not good at communicating, you may not communicate that. That may be more of an internal dialogue.
Right, but that's where I would be open to asking, right? Like, I mean, obviously that wouldn't be a conversation on the first date because that goes like real deep.
Really? Wow, thank you for sparing him.
Deep. but right, that would be something like, okay, I need to understand better where this person, you know, why this person struggles with that.
And not only that, you'd see the effort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he wouldn't have to verbalize like, yo, I'm gonna try, and you know, some days will be easy and some days won't. But fuck with me, and little by little, you know, it's gonna add up. He may not be able to verbalize that, but you'll see that he's giving forth effort, and that's, you know, sometimes those who find it difficult to express, that's all they really want, you know, like somebody to, you know, to work with them, and don't fucking try to force it out of me, because that's gonna make me close up even more. Just let me open up at my pace, you know what I'm saying? I'm a flower, let me bloom.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how long it's going to take you to bloom. Because...
Wow, you see? Time limits, yeah.
I mean,
if it's,
you know, it can't be like 10 years in and I have...
No, it can't be for over 5 years because it won't be in the plan and shit. In 5 years, I'm going to be emotionally healed. Nah. Let me think. What else did I have?
Those were my 5.
My others are superficial, bro.
Yeah,
but
like
obviously,
my tattoo here is a red flag for him.
Well, yes. So that's again. I don't want it to seem as if I am specifically bashing an ex of mine. However, due to what happened between us, certain characteristics that she carried are now red flaggish towards me, and one would be the tattoo on the inner bicep. And you're not the first female that I've seen with that tattoo after the relationship that I've judged. Nah,
he was like, let me see your arm.
Yeah. And I was like, ah, red flag. I should have pulled one out and slapped it. But no, like a deeper red flag to go beyond surface and bullshit is obviously lying.
Right.
Any form of lying, once you get caught in a lie, it's not cool. It's not gonna rock. It's not gonna vibe. Using. A lot of women attempt to use men for financial comeuppance, and I think that's disgusting. And that's pretty like recognizable pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Especially today, I see a lot of stories on Twitter of dudes being like, "Yo, I just met Shorty an hour ago," and they'll show the text stream, and they'll be like, "Yo, how you doing? Oh, I'm stressed out. I need $80 for my light bill." And you're like, "Yo, Shorty, I just met you 10 minutes ago. Like, fuck out of here." Manipulators, obviously.
I think people with anger issues, right? Like.
Yeah, bro, because that's dangerous, you know. That
and
I've
heard stories, right, where people are like at a restaurant. Let's say the waiter gets the order wrong, and the person just flips out on them, right? Yeah. That's a fucking red flag. That might be me, yo.
Don't look at me like that.
Lies.
Homeboy at Dunkin' Donuts, my bad, man. I didn't mean to go at you like that. I pull up to the window and he gonna ask me, "Are you rich?" So I'm like, "Nigga, do I look rich?" And then he looked at me like I was crazy and gave me my coffee, and I kept it moving. So my bad, Dunkin' Donuts guy, bro. You was new. You was slow.
That was a little mean. That was mean. You're mean.
No. Is there a difference between mean and cruel?
I mean, I feel
I'm
like,
sorry, wrong word. Is there a difference between mean and evil? Right? Because I don't think I'm evil, but I can definitely be mean.
yeah, I feel like when someone's evil, they're like intentionally doing
Right.
things, right? I mean, I could be wrong. That's just what I think of
I
when I think of
think so,
evil.
too.
Mean, I mean, some people come off as mean, and they may not really be mean because sometimes it's not what you say; it's how you say it.
I think I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I say shit however the fuck I want, and you're gonna accept it or don't accept it. And that's foul. I shouldn't put people through that, bro.
Who are you?
Fuck, man. I need therapy, Jesus, a cleansing,
Oh, un baño.
the egg, all that. But deep down, I'm mad, kind-hearted, and loving. It just be deep down in the trenches.
I think you're pretty cool.
My
mean,
nigga.
right? But I see you from a different angle, right? Like on a friendship angle.
Correct.
I'm sure there's other ladies that would disagree with me.
I'm sure there are, but even to those that have the worst opinions of me, I'm sure there was a time that they thought I was cool and loving and caring and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that's what manipulators do. They make you believe.
Well, yeah, but that's also what people do when they're damaged, when they're hurt, right? So I meet you and I'm cool and loving and respectful and everything, and then you shit on me, and then I'm not cool and loving no more, and then you shit on me because I'm mean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So who's the manipulator?
Yeah.
A discussion for another time. On the next episode of Men Lie, Women Lie, and All Flowers Die, I believe we're going to be talking about sex. What about sex? I don't know, but I'm the expert here. Nah.
I guess so.
We'd love to hear from y'all, though, so please DM us if y'all got any crazy sex stories, any crazy like little secret techniques that y'all know about that I may have never heard of and you want to try on your boy. Holla at me.
Or just some like funny shit that may have happened, right?
You have a funny sex story? For next episode.
I mean, I'm sure I can think of one.
I'm going to have to go into the vault and see what I find. I'm sure there's been... Oh, shoot! Last night the whole drink spilled on the floor. And
Are we saving it? We're saving it for the next episode. Stop
Next
it.
episode. Just know the action didn't stop and I cleaned the floor. And Shorty didn't even notice. And it'll happen at once. Next episode, Men Lie, Women Lie, and All Flowers Die with the lovely Miss Les, the walking red flag, and your boy, Uncle Joe. And we out.
The walking red